and in all of the usual places. And coming up between now and 9, we will review the local football first up, with Haverfordwest getting an important win at Aber, and all the latest news from across the Pembrokeshire leagues. And we'll look at the start of a new era for Rob Page's national side, with his squad announcement coming tomorrow. In rugby, Warren Gatland's men avoided the wooden spoon with a win in Italy. We'll ask if that could prove the point that's kick-starting his second reign as head coach. And there's more to come as well, with tonight's guest being the former Milford Mercury and Western Telegraph journalist and Gordon Thomas protege, Riath Al-Samurai, now a multi-award winner with the Daily Mail. He owes it all to Gordon, I'm sure.
Don't forget Mr. Watson as well. Don't leave him out.
He will join us live.
He's sitting here like Alex Ferguson.
He will join us live from the USA on the show before 9, all being well. We are all over the place tonight already, quite literally. Gordon and Tom are in Haverfordwest. Fraser's in St David's. I'm in Cheltenham, where we are all set for 4 days of racing starting tomorrow. So under starters' orders, we're off. Let's get going, chaps. Gordon, evening to you. How are you?
I'm very good, Ben. Had a good weekend. Enjoyed it.
Good stuff.
And Wales won.
Yeah, well, exactly, and we'll talk about that probably in the final part. I think we'll get into the Six Nations.
And England lost. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I did think that'd take long. I have to say though, listen, we're going to do this very quickly. The three of you all said Wales would lose in Italy. That year of faith.
No,
you all said win. We'll review the minutes. But we will come to that, and lots of thoughts on that Wales win and the England performance, which was terrible against France. Fraser, evening to you. How are you?
Not too bad, Ben. Long weekend up and down the country, watching Swansea lose, and then up to Manchester, which is a much nicer experience, which I'll come on to in a bit. But yeah, tiring and nice to be here, though.
Excellent stuff. And Tom, evening to you. Good to have you with us once again on the show.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, Fraser, let's kick off with that first up, because it's been a busy weekend for you, hasn't it? So you've been up to Manchester and you've seen firsthand some brilliant facilities. But we need to mention this because I think your boy and some of his teammates were really flying the Pembrokeshire flag, weren't they, this weekend?
Yeah, that's right. Well, we went up to Swansea on the way. No one was flying the flag there apart from Middlesbrough fans, so we won't talk about that too much. But we did then go to Manchester, the game Pembrokeshire Academy, at an end of season trip up to Manchester City Academy, actually. And what a place, guys. You know, talk about how the other world live. You've got a state-of-the-art facility with 16, well, they call them 4G. It's probably 5 or 6G up there, whatever they call it, pitches. You've got headquarters, receptions, changing rooms, facilities, the lot. You know, it was a multi-million-pound complex. You've got basically mini stadiums for junior kids to play on, and then you've got the actual Etihad 5-10 minutes down the road. So a wonderful insight into what they've built at that club, albeit with a lot of money, of course, and just how Premiership clubs, you know, work and adapt. So yeah, great experience for him, and nice for me to watch him play on there, actually.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, the facilities are amazing. I've done a half marathon in Manchester, and we looped around the Etihad, and it really is impressive what they've done with the complex there. So they had an enjoyable afternoon, Fraser. Long journey, but a good one.
They did. They actually played the Manchester City under sixes, which was a mercy, to be honest. And some superb City. Even the young footballers there. You're talking players who are fading when they shoot, blasting it in top corners at 6, which I couldn't do when I was 26. Let alone at that age. So yeah, they had a great time and experienced it. Well, he might forget it. I'll never forget it anyway. Put it that way.
So the City youngsters are playing the City way already, even under sixes.
Yeah. These little kids came out and scored 1 goal straight out the Guardiola playbook. They darted it back and forth, and then one kid tapped it in from 3 yards out. It was ticky-taka to the extreme.
Oh, excellent. Well, good stuff. I'm glad that went well, and that was a really good experience, no doubt about it. And we should say as well, Gordon on the road for Haverfordwest County this weekend, and a pretty important 1-0 win that for Tony Pennett's side, wasn't it?
Yeah, we spoke about it last week, didn't we, Ben? You know, how tight it is in that division, and in the split it is very tight. And results went for Haverfordwest on Saturday as well, with Carnarvon losing. And Ewan-Evans got the important goal for Haverfordwest County, and they got the 3 points, and now they got 2 home games to look forward to. Airbus on Saturday, and then the following week they play Carnarvon Town. So, if they could pick up maximum points in those 2 games, they'd be in a very healthy state.
But they really needed that win, I think, didn't they, on Saturday? And Tony will have been pleased with that. Important to go to Aber, and not an easy place to go over the years for Haverfordwest County, Gord.
No, it isn't. They dug deep, and it could have gone either way. I'm sure Tony Pennock would say the same thing, but they took their chance. They kept a clean sheet, so all's good at Haverfordwest County at the moment. But yes, we got 2 home games, as I said. If we could possibly get maximum points or 4 points from those 2 games, then we'd be looking in a good place for that 7th spot, which would be, the European qualification, the playoff game.
Yeah, indeed. 2:30 this Saturday, home to Airbus, isn't it, at the old Bridge Meadow Stadium?
Yeah.
Sticking with the Bridge Meadow for just a second, and we'll round up Saturday's local football. But last Wednesday, and we heard about this in the first hour because Bill spoke to the man in the middle, the referee who took charge of, Craig Templeton, took charge of that first Senior Cup semi-final. Fraser, Tenby 0, Goodwick United 1. Nathan Green on the score sheet. He came off the bench, didn't he, to win it for Goodwick. Close game. Yeah,
far less comfortable win for Goodwick than I think a lot of people envisaged, actually. Tenby, of course, have come back up through the leagues. There's a few players back. They have progressed. Scott Fernie, I think, went close a couple of times. He was actually there. They've got Dylan Newt there in goal. They've actually, as Gordon know, Ricky Morgan, who I thought had retired about a decade ago, was back parading around the meadow the other night as well. They're a solid side. I think, they were competitive. I think people feared maybe an uncompetitive semi-final. You saw Division 1 versus Division 2, but Goodwick had to dig deep and work hard to get there. And it's Monkton or Kilgetty now, and it's no formality. Goodwick could be favourites just because of their league position, but it's no formality by any means, to be honest.
How do we see the second semi going? Is that this week, Gordon?
No, it's in about the 28th, 29th of March, midweek again. Yeah.
Okay. And Kilgetty were finalists as well, weren't they, last season?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they gave Hakin a decent run on the meadow. They lost in the end, obviously, but I saw Monkton and Kilgetty play at Monkton Lane only a few weeks ago, and Monkton won that 3-1. And they were supposed to play last Saturday at the Kingsmore ground, but it was called off because of a waterlogged pitch. But they're pretty even sides. It's on the night. It's how you deal with the pressure of playing in a semi-final. You either thrive in it or you crumble, and it could go either way. Monkton got a manager who's actually been to the final and won it with Pennar Robbins, we mentioned before, Chris Lloyd. They've got a few former Welsh League players. Joe Leahy, Fraser, you'd be interested in, is signed for Monkton now as well. He won't be able to play in that, obviously, but it's. I would say Swifts are slight favourites, but Kilgetty will give it their all when they play on that Wednesday evening.
I say there's more pressure on Swifts, actually. They started this century, didn't they, as one of the dominant teams in Pembrokeshire. I think, Gord, you'll remember their last final over a decade ago, and they actually let themselves down that day.
I'm not that old, Fraser.
Lost 5-0 to Hakin, I think Justin Harding. And
They
haven't been back there since.
They haven't.
But they've missed out. So I think there's probably more pressure on them. But Kilgetty handled the occasion last year, didn't they? And they were underdogs.
They did. They did.
Very good side.
Yeah, they are.
We'll keep an eye on that. How about the Division 1 results from Saturday then, gents? So these were the scores in the First Division. Carew 2, Goodwick 4. Clarbeston Road 2, Pennar Robbins 1. Fishguard 1, Hakin 4. Merlin's Bridge 4, St Clair's 0. What were the highlights for you from Saturday's action?
The Goodwick game was very important. Chris O'Sullivan knows he had a few players missing through injury as well. And to go to Carew, of all places, and get 3 points at this stage of the season, that was a very good win. I can tell you that now. I
didn't quite see the string of players Bracey promised to rest.
Reece Starling was the main one, Fraser. He didn't feature in the squad, but there was a few walk-in wounded sort of made a recovery to play in that 90 minutes.
But Gordon's right, that was one major banana skin left to Goodwick, and you look at the table now and you wonder if yet again it is going to come down all to that Goodwick and Hakin game, which they tend to keep to the end of the season. They pretend there's a random fixture computer. There's not, that they'll keep it to the end of the season. It's whether either of them drop points between now and then, really. It's looking less and less likely all the time, if I'm honest. Now Mernon's Bridge, of course, tailed off. They've got to play Hakin again, but they've had a bit of a dip of late and lost a couple of players and almost starting again, actually.
Yeah.
So, at the bottom as well now, we thought all along, we were talking about Tish and St. Clair's. Fishguard are in major trouble now. They didn't go bad themselves against Hakin, but they're losing games. They lost players as well. And I think you're talking them, Tish and Pennar. One of them is going down with St. Clair's, I think. It's going to go to the end, which is exciting. You don't want two teams cast adrift at the bottom, but it's going to make it interesting. What I will say is that is one thing that could perhaps impact the top end of the table. Teams having something to play for, but I think Gordon knows sometimes you get a raft of midweek games towards the end of the season. You're trying to cram everything in. If you haven't got anything to play for, you send, in Pembrokeshire, I've noticed you tend to send whatever 11 you can down to certain places.
Yeah.
Get out of the way. There's going to be a few teams needing results desperately down there now in the closing weeks.
Okay. Well, listen, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will take a moment because we've got Riath Al Samurai to talk to, and he's going to join us from America. So we'll go to a break now so that Riath can join us in plenty of time. Is he an ex-Prendergast Villa player?
Fraser? Of course he is.
Yeah. Okay, so he'll be interested
with
to hear
Gordon again. Meant to be
okay, teammates.
No.
I was going to say, wow.
I was secondary at Prendergast when he joined.
Riath, we'll put it to Riath now. He's always denied his football career overlapped with Gordon's.
Veteran Gordon Thomas. Okay, so we'll talk to Riath, and we will come back to football before the end of the show with Rob Page going to name his Wales squad tomorrow, and you feel actually it's quite an interesting one, that. So we'll maybe look at some of the names that could be in the frame, and we'll talk rugby as well on the show before 9 o'clock this evening, right here on Pure West Sport, where it's just gone 8:15.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have tradition.